What's next?
Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome to the Financial Survival Network. Let's find out further what's going on with gold, what's going on with the market. Who better to talk to than Nick Santiago of InTheMoneyStocks.com. It's been a while. Nick, how are you?
I'm great, Kerry. Great to be back.
Hey, good to have you. So market keeps going up a little bit, but looks like it's hitting resistance. Gold, silver, precious metals getting slammed. What's going on?
Well, they are getting slammed, but I have news for you. I think gold is getting set right now at this point in time to put in a multi-year low. And I'm going on record saying that. Obviously, there's a chance that we get a little bit more downside in the near term. But around the 1100 level on gold, I think traders should be loading the boat. We have so many big problems out here that are going to take place over the next few years. Gold is your only safe haven. Even Alan Greenspan has come out recently and said, hey, it's your only currency. It's more important and more valuable than the U.S. dollar, which has been devalued by 95% since the Federal Reserve came into power.
That is true. We heard about that at the New Orleans Money Show. And look, I'm going to run something by you. The past 2 Fridays in a row, gold is getting creamed and then upside reversals. Last Friday, gold closes around 37.50. This morning, I look at gold. I say, oh, man, it's another one of those days. It's down 12.
Look at the reversal today.
Yeah, it's down 12 and a half bucks now. And I should say the date today, so you'll be able to track it, is November 14th, 2014. In the morning, I wake up, gold is down. It's getting slammed 12 and a half bucks. We're speaking now right at noontime. It's up 1640. What is going on here, Nick? Something is afoot.
The big money, smart money, the institutional money, they're accumulating. They can't go in there and just hit one big market order and send it soaring. So they pick days where the market is slow. When the market is somewhat a little bit, lethargic. Think about a Friday trading volume in the S&P Spiders. It's always the lightest day of the week. And they go in there and they start to accumulate. And they accumulate. And they do it in stealth mode without anybody seeing, without anybody knowing. Just, it's been reported that Vladimir Putin has been loading up on gold. He's trading oil and natural gas with China. The dollar, which has been soaring and roaring to the upside, is only going up by default. It's not going up because it's a good currency. It's going up because there are so many central banks out there printing money. Japan just doubled down. Japan is going to be the first country in the world that blows up its entire financial system, and that's going to happen. Yeah. And you have to own gold. ECB, Mario Draghi, he's looking to do the same thing. He's looking to, get Germany on board, and he wants to print money. I mean, this is insane. If you don't own gold now, you're absolutely insane not to have it. So, I mean, if there's ever been a warning sign, it's here. And what about the Swiss referendum that's taking place?
Yeah, what about that? They're desperate when they block PayPal from accepting donations for the pro-gold group. I mean, PayPal, it's just madness to me. I mean, obviously, that's foretelling that they're really getting to the end here, Nick.
Absolutely. I mean, just think about it. I don't know if people have been in the markets as long as I have, but Alan Greenspan, back in his early days before he was with the Federal Reserve, was a big proponent for gold. I mean, he was all about the gold standard. Now, Alan Greenspan has come out again after serving the Federal Reserve for all of those years. He really ripped gold, never said anything good about it, and now he's out in his later years. I think he's coming clean, and he's saying, hey, listen, this is the real currency. We cannot unwind all this QE money, $4.5 trillion that we printed. Who knows how much really they printed and lent out to other countries, other nations. We don't know. I mean, this is all secret stuff. You got to be absolutely out of your mind not to own gold down here. I don't care if it's something, but you should own some silver, own some gold. I mean, these are bargain basement prices if you ask me.
You think Alan Greenspan's repenting for his sins?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was a total disaster. Just think about, what took place under him, the 2000 dot-com bubble, tech wreck. You had also, the credit crisis. I mean, it all falls on his shoulders. And, people are still paying the price for those big bubbles that were caused. And he's just trying to come clean. He's trying to just clean his soul in his latter years here.
Yeah, I find it fascinating, that now, more or less what he said at the New Orleans Money Show is like that basically the Fed is not independent and that, he basically did what he had to do. And
he told the truth.
Right. Yeah.
He told the truth. The Fed is not independent. The Fed is probably the fourth branch of government and the biggest branch. I mean, all of these presidents, whether it's Clinton, Bush, President Obama, who's, in my opinion, I really don't even have much to say. They all get credit for the actions of the central banks. If you go back in history, even Ronald Reagan, he benefited from interest rates being cut. That's what it's all about. That's what stimulates markets. But now they've gone so deep. They've printed so much money. Bernanke put in this yen carry trade where Japan is printing so much money. They're devaluing their currency so much. I mean, this is 2 or 3 years, this is going to be a disaster, an absolute disaster. And the only protection you're going to have, or I'm going to have, is a storage of precious metals.
Yeah. And you think we're at this big turnaround now, huh?
I honestly do. I think that, if people just go back and look at the market, look at gold before the yen carry trade. Gold rallied from 1999, put in a low, all the way up to 2011. And gold was able to rally with the stock market. That tells us that as the market was being inflated and we were dealing with inflationary pressures, gold was signaling that. Right now, gold has signaled deflation. But now you have all of these central banks in on the game together. They're all in cahoots. They're all together in one big, family. Yeah, they're one big family, and what they're doing now is they're all printing. So what is going to happen essentially? We're going to get inflation, even though there's deflation, which nobody in my mind can really explain to me. What is deflation? Deflation means that goods that you don't need go down, but goods that you do need go up. Go buy a steak right now and see the price of a steak. Yeah. I mean, it's outrageous. It's the highest I've ever seen. So, things that people need, like food, are going up, are shooting up in price, and things that people don't need, like iPads, they're getting cheaper every year.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. This is absolutely insane. And as we speak, gold is now up $17 on the day, and the dollar yen is starting to really fall. And when the dollar yen falls, that is telling you liquidity is coming out of the system, and that's problematic for the stock market. Now, I'm one of these people that believe the stock market, is a tradable entity, right? I trade it all the time, every single day. I got a half dozen trades under my belt today. The bottom line is you need to be a trader. If you're going to sit there and just hope, that's not the way to be proactive. If you're going to just sit there and hope, you should be hoping with gold and silver in your portfolio.
Hey, Nick, you're an expert here, expert trader. If you were holding a few $1 million in, say, Google, Apple, Facebook, and Twitter, okay, now you're way up in profits and you feel like a crash could be coming. How do you protect yourself in that situation from a wipeout?
You diversify yourself into a precious metal.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it. I mean, or else you continue to hold those equities and you put a trailing stop in there, say a 10 to 12% stop loss, and you say, hey, if God forbid the market ever comes soaring and roaring down, I'm going to be able to get out safely. And that's what you're going to have to do. But this is absolutely crazy. I mean, it's a great trading market. I'll give it that. I mean, I bought the market. I bought the S&P 500, when it was down at the 182 level. All of my subscribers, we made a lot of money. We bought a bunch of other equities as well, and we're out of them all now. But I mean, people have to realize that these are trading markets. Even though you have a central bank that is just absolutely behind the rise in equity prices 100%, it's still a trading market. Just think about the amount of fear that came just on that last correction that we had in mid-October. I mean, you could hear people shaking in their boots because they're saying, oh, my goodness, this could be the big one. But, we're doing the same practices we did before. Instead of subprime home loans, now we have subprime auto loans. I mean, nothing's really changed. Fannie, Freddie, they're still there. All of these terrible default credit, all these bad derivative products, they're still on the bank's books, even though they've been able to change the story from mark to market to mark to model. That's what they use now. I mean, you just, nothing has changed. And the banks have gotten too big. They were too big to fail before. Well, they're even bigger.
They're worse than ever now. Yeah,
they're even bigger. So, it's absolutely incredible. And I find it ironic, though, that in September of 2011, J.P. Morgan upgrades gold to $2,500 an ounce, and it tops out at $1,980 an ounce. Yeah. And that was the top. So, you got to watch these big firms. When they put in these major calls, it's usually you go the opposite way. And right now, the sentiment on gold, the sentiment on silver is absolutely as bearish as I can remember. I remember when I started to buy gold and silver in 2003, how people were saying, hey, that's just a fad. That metal doesn't do anything. And, I watched it go up from $300 an ounce all the way up to $1,980 an ounce. Now I'm hearing the same thing. It's a relic. It's useless. The reason why the ancients ever used gold and silver was simply because they knew that a country, a government, couldn't print it. And the same case is still valid today.
Yeah, we know this. So, hey, when we get back, we'll talk about how you play gold. Do you just take the physical, or are there some other ways of handling it on the Financial Survival Network?
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Every week the show is growing. Would you like to be a part of it? Then go to clubfsn.com and help support us with $1, $2, $5, or $10 a month and get a host of premium content with newsletters dropped into your mailbox, free books, private audio clips, webinars, and much more. Then join clubfsn.com. If you want to get ahead of the trend and ensure your family's financial security before it's too late, go to clubfsn.com and sign up.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
And in case you just tuned in, we are talking with Nick Santiago, InTheMoneyStocks.com. Nick, veteran trader. Now he's down in Florida trading from his house, but he's still good at it. And Nick, so aside from physical, you got to hold physical, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Everybody should have physical gold and silver. One or the other. If you can't afford to buy gold, you should own some silver. I mean, right now, today,
right,
it's trading down here at these low prices. Where else can you get silver for $16 an ounce? You should own something. Everybody should have it in their portfolio. And if you want to own the paper gold, I would recommend that you own things like the Central Fund. Ticker symbol is CEF on the New York Stock Exchange. That's the way to play it, because these guys actually have physical gold and silver on hand. So, I mean, if you're going to own it via the paper, I would own it via the Central Fund, and that's Central Fund out of Canada. Ticker symbol is CEF, trades on the NYSE.
And they are audited, I think, twice a year. It's in the Bank of Toronto, I think, or Bank of
That's correct.
Right? Bank of Toronto. And,
I believe it is.
Yeah, they actually have it. Their administrative costs extremely low. It's not like the CEO of CEF is getting paid megabucks for watching your gold. And
right.
Yeah, good.
You could also get involved in the Sprott products. They have the physical gold on hand as well. So, I mean, there are some ways to, just have the paper, not actually carry the physical gold and silver in your home. As you know, I live in Florida. I live on a big giant lake, so I have alligators protecting my gold and silver.
You got a moat, huh?
I have a moat.
Well, moats are always helpful, but for those of us who don't have a moat, then you've got to find other means of securing your valuables, and we've got a report on doing that. We've actually found places where you can stock your gold under armed guard 24/7, and you have access to it 24/7. And they'll even give you an armed escort to your car if you need it. But you have to go subscribe to the Financial Survival Network, and you get your 3 free reports, one of which deals with that option. And, most people actually have access to it. I wouldn't say put all your gold there, but a portion of your holdings, not a bad idea. A little takeoff on it that we, to my knowledge, the only one to come up with it. So in any event, you got to hold physical for sure. Central fund, not a bad way to play it. We've owned it before, own some now, and there's other funds around the world that are relatively safe as well, but not for your primary holding, right?
No, I mean, for me personally, I like to have that physical metal on hand. I really enjoy just knowing where it is. It's in my possession. I have it hidden. I feel best about that. I mean, a friend of In the Money Stocks is Gerald Salente, and when
sure.
MF Global went out of business, I mean, he was stuck, didn't know what was going to happen to his gold. He had to fight tooth and nail, cost him a lot of money to get his gold back. So, I always feel that it's best to have it on hand personally.
Yeah.
But if you're going to own it, do it the way we just mentioned. If you're going to own it via the paper version.
Yeah, well, any paper account is in jeopardy once the market closes every day. It's in jeopardy, right?
Well, in essence, it is. I mean, the safest way you could do it is just the way we mentioned with a central fund or a Sprott product where, these guys are audited and they have, the physical metal right on hand.
Yeah, there's a Swiss fund also that's got it. As we're speaking here, refresh your screen and see how much gold is up.
Well, I could tell you, I have it running. It's now up $25.
I know.
So it is absolutely soaring and roaring today. You could see dollar yen is breaking down. For those of you that don't know, when the dollar yen falls, gold will rise. And that's exactly what's happening today. The dollar yen is just completely rolled over. And when the dollar yen collapses or sells off, the stock market will sell off too. And we've seen a little bit of a pullback coming into the Dow Jones at the moment. But gold is absolutely on fire. Just as we speak, it's up, $25 right now.
Exactly a replay of last Friday, and silver has broken $16 again. Now, I'm not saying that this is the long-awaited turnaround for precious metals, like I'm the worst at forecasting these things. But when it starts going through 1,200 and back through the mid-1200s, then I think we'll start having a good indication. Mining stocks, you're feeling about them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the gold mining stocks are very prime right now. I mean, it's still a little itchy because they've already made a little bit of a move. So you want to be a little bit careful with them if you're going to pick exact entries and you're going to be a trader. But mining stocks right now actually put in a little bit of a low about a week ago, and we're in kind of a range. We haven't broken out. They're just up a little bit. Today you have the GDX, which is the market Vectors Gold Miners ETF, and that's up about 83 cents. So, gold miners are a good way to play it as well. Sometimes they generally will lead the physical, but right now, I mean, you see the physical today. It's really had a huge reversal, as you mentioned earlier in the conversation, that, we had a big gap down in gold today. Gold was down about $15, $16, and now we're up over $25. So this is just a one-day event, but all in all, this is accumulation. And I've been telling my members this for weeks now, that the big money is accumulating gold. And yes, they may come down and slam it again, but around the 1,100 level, you should own it with both hands.
Yeah, and Charles Nenner, somebody we follow very closely, a good cycle guy, says, buy signal is 1180 for gold, 1650 for silver. Closing, closes above 1180 and 1650. It looks like we're going to hit it for gold. And it's amazing that Friday to Friday, that Friday would be the next follow-through day for gold. I don't want to get all excited about it. Like I say, timing is not my thing. we just go back to what you said at the beginning here, is that nothing has changed. It's the situation's getting worse. The money printing, the underlying fundamentals of every world economy, right down to China, worse. The war cycle getting worse. Countries confronting each other, Russia, China, the U.S., the Middle East. Just take your pick. And the other thing that I saw, it's not the be all and the end all indicator, but let's face it, when the gold silver ratio gets to 75, and it keeps going up and up and up.
Right. That's where we are now.
It's just something always happens. To me, it isn't.
Very true.
To me, it doesn't say that it doesn't mean anything in and of itself. To me, it just means that something is going to happen, because it always does. Does that mean that it always will? I don't know about, coincidence curves and all that, but it just always happens. When it starts to get up to 80, you can be damn sure that something is going to happen to bring it down, So,
well, like we've said before, and, I'll say it again, and I've been on this show with you now for, I guess, a few years.
Yeah.
I've been saying, hey, everybody should have this. I don't care where it goes. It could go down, and like I said before, gold could go down to $1. It will still have real value when it's all said and done, as opposed to a fiat currency, which has always failed throughout history.
Yeah, and that's where we're heading towards now. Hey, Nick, tell us a little bit about your website, what it is exactly you guys do.
Well, we're traders, and what we do is we look for pattern on charts, and we put it together with price and time. And that gives us a very, very good risk-reward ratio. Anybody can go to our website, which is inthemoneystocks.com. We post our track record up there for everybody to see. We show you every single trade that we do. And I honestly believe, we're probably the top site out there if anybody is looking to learn how to trade, or if anybody wants to follow our trade signals, learn how to do it. We teach you exactly what we do. We leave nothing uncovered. You take one of our webinars. I teach a webinar called the In the Money Stocks Methodology webinar. It's an 8-hour class. You'll learn more in 8 hours than you'll ever know in 20 years in the stock market. I've had money managers, fund managers, still can't believe how much information we put out there in 8 hours. And it's a boot camp of a trading day, but this is what it's all about. And come on over, take a 7-day free trial. I mean, we offer free trials to our intraday stock chat. Today, we traded the biotech stocks today. Today, I put out a gap play before the market even opened that we made 50 cents on, just a half a buck, but it was all in about 3 minutes. And we bought some biotechs today at the lows of the day. Just come over and see what we're made out of. But that's what the site is about. It's about teaching traders or teaching people that have never traded before that want to trade to come on over and learn how to do it.
All right. Well, hey, we like that. Maybe I'll take that webinar one of these days. I'd love to do it. You find the link, as always, show notes to this interview, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Sign up for our free newsletter. Don't forget, free webinar coming up November 25th of this month at 9 p.m. You'll find the link up in the upper left-hand corner of the site. And Nick, we will talk with you again real soon. Be well.
You too, Kerry. Great talking to you.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.